Hey everybody, welcome back to another video on the new shop. Today I will be showing you how to install the Mr. Cool Mini Split DIY series. And before I begin, a huge thank you to Mr. Cool for sponsoring this video and providing me with another unit for this new shop. This is a new space and it did need heating and cooling. And I did use one of these in my previous shop and had an outstanding experience. So when they offered to be a part of this new space, to me it was a no-brainer. So let's go ahead and get into the install and stick around till the end where I will share my experience with Mr. Cool over the past couple of years. So when you order one of these units, it's going to come in 2 or 3 boxes depending on if you ended up getting the exterior line set cover. And before starting any part of the install, I highly recommend that you open everything first, as many of the different pieces will be split among the different boxes. The exterior unit will come on a pallet, and the unit itself is going to be held down by 4 lag bolts. So the air handler is going to come with a few different items that will be crucial to your install. And before beginning, be sure to remove the mounting plate on the back. And this is going to be held on by 2 clips as well as a single screw. Once removed, it will come right off. You will also have a template that replicates the actual mounting bracket, and this is used to determine the location of the head unit. Start by identifying the location that you want to place the air handler and use a stud finder to locate and mark stud locations. Then use the provided template and line up the hole locations with studs, if possible. Once in line, I like to use an awl to poke through the cardboard template to mark their locations, but there are many other ways that you could do this. And from there, you're going to secure the mounting plate to the wall by drilling it into the studs. And you don't have to drill it into the studs, but you do want to make sure to get at least one side in studs, and you could use anchors on the other. However, with this template, it is really easy to line it up with studs due to the amount of holes that are on the mounting bracket. I like to use a level again here just to make sure that everything remained level during this process. Now, the next step is the one part that everybody always has the biggest angst towards, I guess is probably the right word, and that is drilling a huge 3.5-inch hole through the side of your house. So the reason you're going to do this is because you do need to pass the line set through the wall. And I like to start by using a long drill bit that is long enough to go all the way through the house. This will give me a reference hole on the outside to complete the cut. Then I like to use a 3.5-inch hole saw to cut the actual hole. And just take your time and cut slowly. It will get caught up on things, but it's really easy to do. Now, when doing this, make sure that you do have a very slight downward angle, and it will tell you that in the instructions. You can check this by using a level after making that cut. Now, once that hole is cut, you're going to want to go ahead and insert that sleeve and mark where it's flush on the outside. I do so with a black Sharpie, and then I'll cut it to size with a small saw like you see here. Now, there are a million different ways that you can cut this. However, at the time of this install, most of my tools were still packed up or not operational. And once you have it cut, you can place the sleeve back in the hole for the next step. So now you can prep the air handler for the install. And what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to slowly bend the line set outwards till it's 90 degrees from the unit. Then I recommend using some tape to secure the power cable, the line set, and the drain line together. This will make passing it through the hole much easier. And first, you're going to want to feed the power cable through the hole, followed by the line set bundle. Once in the hole, rotate the unit and lock it into place. You are looking for a loud, audible click like you're going to hear here. Then you're going to want to visually inspect and make sure a solid connection has been made, and this will complete the interior install. If you did end up getting a line set cover, I highly encourage that you install the backs of it next before moving on to anything else. The installation of this is simple and straightforward, but it is far easier to do it before the line set is in the way. And the reason for that is because the line set is very rigid, and if you have everything in place and then you're trying to move it to install a line set cover, it just really is not an enjoyable experience. Ask me how I know. Now you're going to want to carefully, very carefully, begin to bend the line set downward, paying special attention to not kink the lines. Just take your time with this and support the point that you are bending them, and that will ensure that they have a nice smooth radius to them. Once they are facing down, you can go ahead and start to fill that opening with the provided putty that comes with the kit. And this is going to help eliminate any sort of draft or air loss that is still left in that hole. From there, you're going to want to go ahead and grab the pre-charged line set that does come with the unit and begin to unroll it until you have the needed length for the connections. To attach the lines, it's very easy. Everything is color-coded. You just want to match the colored caps to each other. Start by threading them together with your fingers, and once you can no longer tighten it, take a pair of crescent wrenches to finish tightening them. Do not over-tighten these. Just make sure that they are nice and snug. Do this for both lines as well as the connections to the compressor. Once all those connections have been made, go ahead and remove the caps on the compressor and use an Allen key to open the lines. You will be able to hear the refrigerant release. At this point, you can spray the fittings down with soapy water to check for any air leaks should you choose. Myself, I did not do that on this install, but it is recommended from Mr. Cool. Now go ahead and take those black putty pads that come with the set and wrap the connections after you have checked for any leaks. These are extremely sticky, so make sure not to get it stuck on anything that you don't want it on. Now this is the next part that I seem to get the most questions on the last unit that I installed, and that has to do with the electrical. And it could not be any easier to install. The lines are both colored and numbered, so you just have to match the colors with the numbers to the terminals. Now here I'm going to take a quick break and throw in a separate clip giving you guys a better idea of how all the electrical is hooked up. Alright, so excuse the background noise. It's my neighbor's air conditioning unit for the house, but I wanted to show you a close-up and explain the wiring of this unit. So these first three that you see over here, 1, 2, 3 is what you just saw. Again, you can even see the 2 right there. 1, 2, 3. They're all numbered. It is extremely easy. You just hook those up and you hook the green ground up down there. Now wiring it to the power for the house is these 3 terminals over here. Line 1, 2, and the ground. The gauge wire that I'm using, because this is a recommended on a 30 amp breaker, so this is 10 gauge wire, and so the 3 wires are just connected to these 3 terminals here, and they're all wired to a quick disconnect, which I will show you next. And for the quick disconnect, basically you've got your wires that lead to the breaker on the inside, again a 30 amp breaker, and those are connected. And then this is the wire from the machine, and you've got your ground, black with black, white with white. And on a quick disconnect configuration, I did all of this myself. Very simple to do. I would recommend, if you are uncomfortable with it, definitely hire an electrician. I did have an electrician install the quick disconnect while he was doing my other wiring, and then I connected all of this myself. Now, before turning on the machine, make sure that you do install the provided filters. There are 2 of these. Now the moment of truth. Turn on the machine and make sure that you didn't mess anything up. And as you can see here, machine turns on and it works perfectly. And now that we know everything is working well, we can go ahead and finish installing the line set cover, as you will no longer need access. And that is all there is to installing the Mr. Cool DIY Series Mini Split. If you're looking for an even more detailed video on the install of one of these units, I will leave a link to the previous video that I did installing the unit in my last shop. The purpose of this video was not only to show you the installation process, but also share with you my experience over the past couple of years, and also address a lot of the most common questions that I've received in the past couple of years since putting one of these in my shop. We're gonna go ahead and start with that. So the first question that I wanna address, has it made a big difference in my electrical bill? And that's actually a very difficult question for me to answer simply because I never really had a basis of comparison prior to putting one of the units in. Because we moved into the previous house, I immediately installed it. I moved into this house, I immediately installed it. What I can tell you though is that I never really saw any significant difference during the months that I wasn't running it versus the months that I was running it. And what I mean by that is I didn't run it all the time, and I'm gonna address that in another question. So what size did I get? That's another common question that I have gotten. And in the previous shop, which is the exact same square footage as this shop, the only difference with this shop is I have slightly taller ceilings, but I had the 18,000 BTU Mini Split. The one that I just installed in this video and that I put in this new shop is the 24,000 BTU. 24,000 BTU is not needed for this size space. Matter of fact, if you go to Mr. Cool's website, they'll actually have a chart that will show you by BTU what the maximum square footage for that unit is. The reason why I went with this one instead of the 18,000, again, they are a sponsor of this video. They were a sponsor of the last shop. So we went with the 24 versus the 18 because I had the 18. Now I'm using the 24. I said the 24 because I actually did want to compare it to see if there is a significant difference in power, which I can tell you that there is, and also if it does make any difference on the electrical bill. And to give you an idea of the size space, it is a 20 by 30 shop, and I want to say the ceilings are 10.5 foot roughly. I do have a slight drop coming into my garage, which is why it has the additional space. So 600 square feet. Next question, how effective is it in the winter and the summer? In the summertime, it has absolutely no problem keeping the shop cool, like none whatsoever. I've never experienced any problem, and it will get the shop to the temperature very quickly. In the wintertime, believe it or not, I tested this, and in my previous shop, nights that it got, I live in Indiana, nights that it got below 10 degrees, I would keep my thermostat set on 62 in the wintertime when I'm not in there. And I would come out the next day and it would be on whatever temperature I set it at. Even on days that I forgot to turn it down, it would be on 68, 69, 70. Now, the caveat to that is I'm not saying it doesn't matter what brand mini split. I'm not saying that put one of these in your shop and it's going to keep it at that perfect temperature. The most important part of that is how well insulated and sealed your garage space is. So don't think that if you have an uninsulated and unsealed, I mean, my garage isn't sealed, but it's sealed fairly well and insulated very well. So don't think that if you put one of these in an uninsulated space that it's going to make this massive difference. It'll probably do the job it's supposed to do, but it will constantly be running on full power. So I just put that out there because people have this misconception like, oh, if I put one of these in there, it's going to make my life a million times better. You still have to do the other part as well. Next question I get a lot is, do I use the app feature? The answer is no. That's actually probably the one gripe that I have, and it's probably totally me. I'm not saying probably, it is totally me. I just haven't taken the time to figure out what I'm doing wrong. But I've always had kind of a hard time getting the app to work, and also it working with the remote as well and not canceling one or the other out. If you're somebody that owns one of these machines and you know the solution to that, please let me know, because it's probably just something stupid that I'm doing. But I really never use the app. I just use it, use the remote when I'm in the shop. And that's gonna lead me to my next question. So everybody wants to know, do I let it run all the time or do I turn it off? So when it's really nice, like spring and fall, I don't really have a need to run it unless the temperature peaks or it gets a little bit cold. Then I'll turn it on. But a lot of times it's nice outside, so I just want to put up the garage door and maybe open the door or whatever and just work. Now, in the summer and in the winter, do I run it all the time? The answer is yes. I never turn it off unless I'm like going out of town for a long period of time. Even then I would probably keep it on. So in the summertime, I'll usually put it at around like 72, 73 degrees. And for the most part, it's hardly ever really cooling. The fan is running, but it's not really ever cooling. Again, because the garage is, insulated very well. In the wintertime, when I'm out in the shop working, I will put it on like 70. If I get up in the morning when I have my coffee, I will go out and I will put it on 70, let it get to that temperature, and then I'll continue to work. When I'm not in there, I will turn it down to its lowest setting, which is 62 on these machines, and I will let it run on that. So I don't need it to be at 70 during the night. My reasoning behind that is because I find the machine runs better if I leave the machine on, because I'm not straining it to try to get it to a temp, right? I want to regulate that temperature. I also don't want the shop to get really cold or really, really hot during those times, because then the humidity and all the different factors in my shop are going to change. That could cause problems with cast iron and cause problems with lumber. It's just a problem that I don't want to have. If I was in the wintertime, let's say I was to turn it off and the shop for some reason after a couple of days gets down to like 40, and then I turn that thing on to 70, it is going to be running on heat for a long time trying to get this space cooled off, and it's just a lot more strain on the machine, uses a lot more power. So for me, I just leave it running. All right, so the last two questions kind of go hand in hand, and the first one is, why did I choose Mr. Cool over Mitsubishi? And then the final question that I'll address is, would I recommend the Mr. Cool? So in all honesty, I had no intention on doing a DIY mini split and installing one myself when I moved into my previous shop. I got estimates for a Mitsubishi because that's what everybody told me that I should get. And the estimates range from $3,600 to, I want to say, $9,500. The thing that was crazy about that is that it was the same exact unit, different companies giving me an estimate. So that was my first red flag, not about Mitsubishi or their units. So then a friend of mine saw me talking about it in my stories and said, have you ever thought about reaching out to Mr. Cool? And I did. I knew that other people had done it in the past. And I asked them if they would like to partner on the new shop, and they said yes. And they said yes again this time. So of course I'm going to go that route. The reason why it was no question for me moving into this shop is because I've had a fantastic experience. I have absolutely no reason to say anything negative about this other than the issues that I'm having with the app, but that's me. That's not the app. It's I'm doing something wrong. And I don't like the long line sets, because then you have a line set that sits behind the unit, and that just, you know, could look ugly, and maybe people don't like that, right? But it's a DIY series unit. So would I recommend Mr. Cool to other people? Yes, which is why I'm doing this video. Think about it. You can buy one of these, you can buy the multi-system unit for less and do it yourself and save all that money. Does that mean that it's going to have as high of ratings, as high of efficiency ratings, high of SEER as some of these other companies out there? No, but it's also a lot more expensive for those other units. So I'll give you a scenario. If this broke today and I had to go out and purchase another machine, I would just buy another one of these, because I would look at it and go, if it wasn't covered under warranty, right? I would look at it and go, okay, maybe this one just had something wrong. That could be another downside about this, because if something goes wrong with this, there aren't a lot of HVAC companies that want to work on these if they're DIY units that somebody has installed. Definitely take that into consideration. But I have found them. You just have to look for them. I have had a great experience with it. I would 100% recommend it. It literally takes 2 to 3 hours to install the unit. It's not hard, and within a couple of hours, your shop can be heated and cooled, and you can save a ton of money by doing this. Again, I've had a great experience. Hopefully you guys found this helpful, and that is my opinion on the machine, and that is why the machine is in my shop again. And I'm very, very glad that I did this, because I think this is one of the best improvements that you can make to a space. Because if you enjoy being in the space and you're comfortable, you're going to enjoy everything about that space even more. So that's going to do it for this video, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Again, I will leave a link to an even more detailed install video down in the video description. And if you want to find out more about me and what I do, go to benswoodworking.com. Until next time, everybody, get out in the shop, try something new, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.